Hello all, Eric here from ChessDaily.net, and this is your Chess Tactics Tuesday video. As you can tell, I'm already deviating from my upload schedule, and I decided to augment it just a bit, simply for the purpose of the importance of which I consider certain videos to be. I don't think focusing on chess openings are as important as focusing on tactics, positional play, strategy, or endgame play. So I decided to omit that just for the time being, and maybe in the future I might have videos just talking about openings I find interesting, opening traps or tactics that might be in the opening, and I may dive into it that way, or if anyone has questions about certain openings, I may discuss it then. But for now, I think it's more important to stick to these kind of things, the positional play, the technique, the strategy, and things like that. So without further ado, here's the video. So this is one of my games, and it's black to move. And one thing you might notice in your games is a common tactic that you should be wary of is just where your queen is on the board. It might sound simple, but oftentimes it's easy to fall into certain tactics when, say, your opponent does something like my opponent did here. They took my pawn, and now it's white's turn to move. I want you to find a move for white in this position. There's a couple of moves to consider, but considering this is the Tactics Tuesday video, consider a move for white that kind of goes with the theme and would be considered a strong candidate move. Alright, we're back. If you didn't pause your video, you can pause it now. So the move I played was rook d1, pinning the knight to the queen. Now this move does lots of things. It kind of keeps the knight in place. My opponent thinks they've won a pawn in this position. If you're keeping count of material, they're actually down a piece, but just for the move currently, they've won a pawn. But they're going to run into a lot of trouble long term, and we're going to see that just shortly. My opponent ends up playing c6, protecting the knight. I choose to play bishop a3, check to the king. I completely occupy the e-file. So they could end up doing something like pushing the pawn forward, but they decided just to move the king over. And here I decided to get out of the pin, and it's interesting. Something they say is the move I played wasn't the strongest. I ended up playing queen e3. They say you should pile up on the pin piece. So queen e4 would be a good move and attacks the bishop. But I played queen e3 because this was I believe it was a 10-minute game with a 5-second increment. That's usually what I like to play when I'm playing online. And it's kind of a tease to the knight, because obviously if black takes, I take back, they take back, and I'm off even more material. So at last I wasn't played. So again, it's kind of just a tease. And here, my opponent said there was no reason to take the knight. There's a decent amount of pressure on my king, and this pin is something to be talked about. This is kind of the focal point of the game now. So he backs up his bishop, bishop e6, and here, let's see, I have the game in front of me. Yep. So I just trade pieces, maintaining the pin. He takes back with his bishop. And mind you, black's already down material, and considering what we were talking about, what would be the best move to play in this position? What is the winning move to play in this position? It's quite simple. c4. In this position, my opponent resigned. I'm not showing it off because it's a win, because I've had lots of losses with similar tactics and pins along a file where the rook was kind of eyeing my queen there. And it's just something to keep a lookout when you're considering moves to play in certain positions. Even a simple move during the game beforehand at the beginning position would be just to get your queen off the file or something. Just things to look out for are these kind of tactics that can affect you long term. And in chess, long term could be 5 moves, it could be 10 moves. It doesn't take that long for something big to happen over the chess game if there's a decent advantage or something to that you should be cautious for, and it could cost you the game as it did my opponent here. So in your next game, just try to keep an eye out for things like that. Try to keep an eye out for pins and skewers on your pieces, because these tactics are not as direct, but you'll notice their effect sooner rather than later. So that's it from me. Tomorrow I may have a middle game video up. Until next time, be well, my friends.